The government is being accused of hypocrisy for cutting its contribution to KiwiSaver when MPs themselves have access to a generous superannuation scheme. Associate Finance Minister Chris Bishop says politicians have no say in it and that the contribution is set down by the Independent Remuneration Authority. But with his other hat on as Minister for RMA reform, he promised to help first home buyers by making it easier to build houses. Political correspondent Zane Small reports.
Chris Bishop setting a new national direction for councils under the Resource Management Act.
Consultation will begin today on the biggest change to national direction since the RMA came into force in 1991.
It's all quite technical and complex, but ultimately complements the government's other work of replacing the RMA with new legislation premised on property rights.
We're trying to do both at the same time.
The government says today's reforms will simplify consenting across farmland, renewable energy projects, quarries and mines, and housing.
We'll see home ownership get better as a result of the changes we are announcing today.
First home buyer activity remains strong, according to a new report from Cotality and Westpac, accounting for nearly 25% of purchases, comfortably above the long-term average, with the ability to use KiwiSaver for the deposit a factor in supporting that growth. But as revealed in the budget, the government is halving its contribution to KiwiSaver to $260 a year to save billions of dollars, while increasing the default contribution rate for employers and workers to make up for it. The Taxpayers Union today described that as hypocritical because MPs have access to a generous superannuation subsidy, up to 2.5 times their contribution to a maximum 20% of their salary.
From a taxpayer perspective, you could actually argue that the government's probably done the sensible thing, but it's the hypocrisy. You know, there is no one I know that gets their employer tops up their salary with a $34,000 boost per year.
Those decisions are not ones for me. They're made independently of us as politicians by the Independent Remuneration Authority.
Chris Bishop is also Minister for Housing, and he pointed to the Reserve Bank's decision yesterday to cut the official cash rate for the 6th time in a row as a win for first home buyers.
That is flowing through to lower interest rates. That is making it easier for people to get into home ownership.
But new research out today from the Financial Markets Authority shows 1 in 6 New Zealanders feel they are sinking financially. And the Reserve Bank today acknowledged the inflation rate, known as the Consumer Price Index, is forecast to rise from 2.5% to 2.7% later this year.
We are very conscious that the Consumer Price Index is the basket of goods for the average consumer.
So, facing potentially higher consumer prices, first-home buyers are also facing a lower contribution from the government towards a deposit, but with a promise to make housing more affordable in the future.